What you're about to hear, it might sound like something straight out of science fiction, but what if it's not? We're going to pull on a thread that, if it's true, could unravel everything you think you know about reality itself. Look closely, closer. What if the person you see in the mirror isn't really you? What if every memory you have, every feeling, every single thought is just data? A string of ones and zeros on some unimaginable hard drive. So, to figure this out, we have to start with the most basic thing we know, the world around us, the very ground beneath our feet. What if that's the first lie? Go ahead, touch the table in front of you, knock on it. It feels solid, right? Of course it does. But physics tells a very different story. What you're feeling isn't solid matter. It's an illusion. The only reason your hand doesn't pass right through it is a force field of electromagnetic repulsion. Your atoms are being pushed away by the table's atoms. It's one piece of code interacting with another. And it gets even stranger. The building blocks of you, me, and everything we see, atoms, they're almost completely empty. We're talking vast empty space. Let me put it this way. If you could take all 7 billion of us and squeeze out all that nothingness, our entire species would fit inside a single sugar cube. We are, for all practical purposes, ghosts. Ghosts in a machine. Okay, so the physical world is flimsy at best, but that's just physics. The real gut punch comes from statistics. This is where things get really, really convincing. Back in 2003, a philosopher named Nick Bostrom laid out a chilling argument. He said that for any advanced civilization, one of only 3 things can be true. 1, they wipe themselves out before they get powerful enough to create perfect simulations. 2, they get that powerful, but for some reason they're just not interested in simulating their ancestors. Or 3, we are almost certainly living inside one of those simulations right now. Just think about where we are headed. We're already making video games and virtual worlds that are getting harder and harder to tell from reality. Now imagine that technology 1,000 years from now, or 1,000,000. If just one civilization, anywhere, ever, reaches that point, they won't run one simulation. They'll run billions of them. And that leads to a really staggering thought. In all of existence, there would be only one base reality, but billions upon billions of simulated ones. So what are the odds, what are the actual mathematical odds that you and I are in that one original room? Statistically speaking, it's about 1 in a billion. If we really are inside a program, then it stands to reason there'd be clues, right? Glitches, limitations, the fingerprints of the programmers hidden in the laws of our universe. Things that just don't feel natural, because they're not. They're code. Let's start with this. You know how if you zoom in really close on a digital photo, you eventually see the pixels? It's not a smooth image, it's a grid. Well, what if our universe has the same thing, a resolution limit? Turns out it does. It's called the Planck length. It is the smallest possible unit of distance. Nothing can be smaller. Our reality isn't smooth. It's pixelated. Why would it be like that? Well, maybe the computer running our universe just doesn't have the processing power to render things any smaller than that. And here's another weird limitation baked into our reality. Why can't anything go faster than the speed of light? It's a hard, universal speed limit. But why should there be a speed limit at all? Think about it like this. In any computer system, information can't travel faster than the processor can handle. It's the system's refresh rate. So maybe the speed of light isn't a law of physics. Maybe it's a processing cap, a built-in lag prevention to keep the whole simulation from crashing. This whole idea of saving processing power brings us to maybe the most compelling parallel of all. In video games, there's a trick called frustum culling. The game engine only bothers to render what the player is actually looking at. The city behind you literally pops into existence when you turn around. Now, doesn't that sound an awful lot like the observer effect in quantum mechanics? The rule that says particles don't even have a definite location until something observes them. Look at this. On one side, you have a game engine not bothering to draw what you can't see. And on the other, that's how our universe seems to work. Before we look, reality is just a smear of probabilities, a fog of unrendered code. The takeaway here is unsettling. The universe appears to be lazy. It's built to conserve resources, only drawing the world when a conscious mind asks it to. But Okay, all of this is still just circumstantial, right? It's a compelling pattern, but it's not proof. But what if there was something more? What if someone actually found the source code? This sounds impossible, I know. But a theoretical physicist named S. James Gates was working on string theory, on the fundamental equations of our universe, and he found something that shouldn't be there. He found error-correcting codes, the exact same kind of code your web browser is using right now to make sure you're getting clean data. He found computer code written into the fabric of the cosmos. And that leads us to the final part of this. The part that's, well, frankly, terrifying. Because if this is true, what does that mean for us? For the little bits of code running around inside the program? It's the only question that matters, isn't it? If this whole world is a construct, then what is its purpose? What are we for? One of the leading theories is that we're what's known as an ancestor simulation. That somewhere in the distant future, our descendants are running this program to study their own past, to see how we lived, what mistakes we made. We could be a history lesson, an exhibit in a museum. But that's where the danger comes in. See, any experiment is only useful as long as the subjects don't know they're being watched. The second we figure it out, the second the lab rats know they're in a maze, the data is corrupted. We stop being a useful simulation and start being a liability. So if you ever see something impossible, a glitch in the matrix, maybe the best thing to do is not to look closer. Maybe you should just look away. Because if we prove we know, if we wake up inside the dream, they might just decide the experiment is over and turn the server off.